What's up, guys? It's your boy Mario, and welcome back to another installment of My Therapist Made Me Do This podcast with Mario and friends. I am, of course, Mario. Now, it's been a while, as my wife says in the corner. Say hello, wife.
Hi.
She been spicy today, but it's been a little while, man. I've been like super busy. So between work, obviously basketball started for me, so that takes a lot of the little free time I have, and the rest of it is about to be occupied by something else I have. But nonetheless, man, glad to be back on the mic, man. Glad to be here. A lot of stuff been going on. So I have probably my next 3 shows already planned out just because of the craziness that's been going on lately. But now let's get into it. So don't want to take up too much of your time. Obviously, if you're listening to this, like this will be a very different format than we've had before. If you're watching on YouTube, then you'll see, I got my little banner up now. I got my little intro. I'm trying to come up in life. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing now. But anyway, I want to talk about what we're gonna talk about first. We'll do some quick promotional stuff, and then we're gonna get right into it. All right. So today, we're going to have a conversation about the P Diddy situation. Now, nope, I'm not about to sit here and tell you my personal thoughts and feelings about if I think he's guilty or not guilty. That is not what I'm here for. But I will talk about the players that are involved in the story. So more so the people that surround Mr. Diddy, the diddler, as people have been calling him, because I want to talk about why it's so easy for people to follow bad situations. So some of the questions I had was, persuasion and manipulation are at an all-time high in this society, and there are quite a few people who fall victim to the go along, get along game. Why are people so easily influenced? And should success be a measure to become a dictator? Now, as you can see, if you're watching, the name of this episode is going to be I'll Follow, You Lead. And we'll talk about it. We'll hit a couple points about why I think people prefer to be followers than leaders and the things that kind of come with that. And we'll kind of tie in, like I said, the Diddy situation. And something else I was just watching recently that kind of just hit me and came all together. Now, before we get started, before we get into that, I have to do this quick plug. So for the past month and some change, there's a young lady that reached out to me and wanted me to try some of her skincare products. So small business, young lady, I believe she's retired military. So she has a line of beard butters, body butters, hand sanitizers, all that stuff, right? So let me jump over real quick. Let's see. We are going to jump over if you're watching YouTube because I want y'all to see this now. All right. So skinopium.com is the website. And we're just going to scroll through. Now, obviously, this is me going through my little shindig. But I want to show you guys a little brief snippet of the store. And if you're listening, I'm going to give you a quick overview of it. Now, so she has body butters, beard balms, body scrubs, and hand sanitizers. Now, there's different scents and smells and things that smell great and amazing. Ladies, they're great if you have stretch marks or you just want to smell good. That is what all this is centered around. Fellas, I've been using this for the past like 2 months, and I will tell you that it has helped with, I've had like a couple of patchy hair, not like super patchy areas, but I have like a couple of patches in my beard. And I've been using this religiously every single day. And when I tell you, like, I did notice the difference in some of those spots growing back in. And I'm telling you, it smells absolutely amazing. So there you can see some of the flavors that she has, or flavors or smells that she has. Strawberry body butter, apricot, peach, and pear body. Man, just some awesome stuff. So I personally was using the baby powder scent and the golden sand scent. So if you are out there and you're interested, man, let me go ahead and stroll this across. So it is skinopium.com, and she was so gracious enough to give your boy a promo promo code. Now, it's very affordable. So, man, if you're out there, man, and you want to try a good beard, I'm telling you, man, it smells absolutely amazing. I'm not even lying to you. I got it right here in front of me. Boom, bam. Just so y'all know, I have definitely been using this stuff. Like, it smells absolutely amazing. So I have like I said, I was using the golden sand scent, and it leaves a nice little shine on your beard. And literally, obviously you do whatever your regular routine is. Keep it nice and moisturized. Rub a little bit in. Put it all over the entire shit in. You good to go. So that's Skin Opium, SKNOPM.com, promo code Mario10. Now, if you used it or you check it out, man, let me know. Shoot me a message and hey, I tried this stuff out. Once you get it, legit, tell me what you think about it, and I'll pass that information obviously to her. But I'm telling y'all, like, I ain't just saying it just because I ain't getting paid for this. It's just something just to promote somebody else's business that I think is absolutely awesome. So make sure y'all check it out. So again, that's Skin Opium, SKNOPM.com. Go to your checkout. I believe most of the butter, the body butters and the beard butters are like $7.50. Like, they're not very expensive at all. And promo code Mario10. So that'll give you 10% off. Buy a couple of them, like I said, for your lady, man. I'm gonna buy a couple for Jess over here. I think she looked at a couple of them previously, but I'm gonna buy a couple of them so she can smell good when she buy me. She over here doing her crocheting. But and I'm gonna try another scent for the beard butter just to kind of give it a little variety. But again, skinopium.com, promo code Mario10. Check it out. You'll see me promote that every podcast. Now, I'll follow you lead. Now, let's get into what's going on with P Diddy. Now, if you've been under a rock, I'll just kind of give you a brief little skim the surface type situation, right? So, recently P Diddy's house was raided, right? P Diddy, famous rapper, if you don't know who that is, Puff Daddy, and some of you may know him. Previously, there was allegations from a girlfriend of his that he engaged in some very interesting extracurricular activities, right? To include potentially, allegedly, human trafficking, sexual encounters with minors, a bunch of other stuff that was really interesting. There's actually one of the people who was a part of his team. He was the guy that was recording the video or the album that he just came out with, and he was around him for a whole year. So he has all these court findings with pictures that he said like is putting people in situations, famous people, all these things, right? So I'm reading this court document, which is actually a very interesting read, believe it or not. And the only thing that came to my mind was there's no way that this man could have gotten away with this for as long as they've said he's gotten away with this by himself. So once you read the proceedings or you read the allegations against him, you will see that he had an actual, almost like a team of people that were doing all of his dirty work. Now, allegedly, he's there was this mixture of like cocaine and something else was mixed with, it was pink. I don't know, it was crazy. But there was a lady whose job that was with him, and her job was everybody, the maids, the chefs, everybody had these little pouches and they had these little baggies of stuff. So whenever he needed these drugs to do whatever it was he was going to do, they wanted to make sure he had it on demand. And this went on, like there were allegations of people, males coming in, he would get them high and he would get them drunk. He would put two women in the room. And then when the person woke up, there was him next to him. Craziness, right? As I read the story, I realized that there are a lot of characters that actually allegedly knew what was going on and actually helped bring people to the house. So allegedly, there was a hat that you wore when you went to the club, and that let people know that, hey, this was a guy that was hired by, P. Diddy, and then you can go do the thing. So he had a whole team of people. And it really kind of like sparked my interest. Like, man, like, what is it about people who will willfully engage in really bad things? They will follow people knowing good and well this is the wrong thing to do, but they'll do it willfully for whatever reason, whether it be personal gain, finances, low self-esteem, whatever. Like it could be a myriad of things. So I narrowed this down to a couple of things. Like I said, we won't be here too long, I promise. But I just want to talk about this real quick because I thought it was interesting. So I want to get to my first point. People want to be led. Now, there's a show on Netflix right now called Unlocked. And on the show Unlocked, it takes place in a prison, and there's a warden, and he's trying to change the stigma of prison rehabilitation. Now, what he decided to do was, I don't want to tell too much of it because it really is a good watch. But what he decided to do was to start giving prisoners freedoms back. So he would take all the guards out of the prison, out of the pod, and then he will unlock all the doors. So instead of them being locked down for 23 hours a day and then having 1 hour of recreation, he totally waived that. Open the door, 24 hours. You can live the dream, roam around the pod freely. There's no officers around anything. Now, as these people, as their behaviors, have they shown that they were responsible and they can handle things, he gave them more things. So the first thing I think he gave them was phone privileges. So you had unlimited phone privileges, which like obviously boosted morale. And what was the other one? It was like unlimited rec time. It was one other thing. I can't remember what it was. But the first thing that happened, he talked to everybody, told them exactly what it was. And the minute he unlocked the doors, there was this one guy who was like, somebody has to take charge, right? There was a bunch of old guys, there was a bunch of young guys, but somebody had to take charge to bring structure to the situation, or else it was going to be chaos. So the minute that this guy decided to step up and say, hey, so here's how we're going to do when they drop off the meal trays. Let's have this area go first, this area go second. Like he was legitimately trying to bring organization so there wouldn't be any contention. Of course, he was met with a bunch of contention, tons of it. Oh, I ain't listening to you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, people were genuinely upset that he was trying to make this right. So the part that got interesting for me was that he said, all right, I'm going to take a step back. Since no lead, so nobody wants to take over. Cool. When he did that, there were fights. People started smoking in the in the jail. They were making hooch, like a little alcohol. Like people just had their own different ways of doing things. So the warden came in and he shut stuff down. Now, mind you, they went back and forth for a lot of this stuff, which was like super duper interesting. But it was really interesting to me that everybody wanted to do what they wanted to do, but nobody wanted to do what was right. And when they had somebody that stepped up, they realized like, oh no, we don't want to be led by you because you don't have enough power or influence. But whenever this warden walked in, oh, it was, oh man, I want to make sure I get in line. I want to get in the write-ups and nothing like that. So I look at this Diddy situation, right? People wanting to be led. We live in such a follower society right now where people trends. I remember once upon a time people were eating Tide Pods. Now I feel like you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that eating Tide Pods is a bad idea. Kids were legitimately going to the hospital for this, and they would pull up their TikTok videos or whatever, and people would see them eating Tide Pods, and they were going to the hospital getting sick. And people turned around and did it like they were gonna get different results. So people don't have a desire to be a leader because leading comes with a lot of responsibility. And oftentimes, my wife and I talk about this a lot. Like, as I kind of progress, and now I'm kind of in charge of a bunch of people, and we talk about how it is truly lonely at the top. Like, being a leader is very lonely because you make decisions about things that may not be very popular for everybody else, but for how you analyze a situation, it works for the better. Now, the interesting part about this Diddy situation is that he was surrounded by a bunch of people who, I'm assuming, because of his influence, because of his financial prowess, his ability to give people, pay people off or whatever, people were blindly blindly. They would put on a hat that said Bad Boy Records and would intentionally go and recruit women. I don't know if there was a preference that they were younger, but it appeared that majority of the women were very young. And they would lure them in, and they would just, whatever happened, happened. Knowing good and damn well this is absolutely the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Um, Drugging people. So having people come to his house, everybody knowing what the deal is. People come in the house, oh, we already know like what time it is. Willingly getting people high and drunk so they can wake up, and God knows what was happening to these people when they, woke up or while they were drugged or whatever. He actually had this lady who was like his number two lady. Like she was like his scheduler, like his, what do you call it? Your personal like receptionist, manager, whatever. They were asking her about some of his behavior. So some of the people in the reports were asking like, "Hey man, there's some weird stuff going on around here." And the lady would literally be like, "Well, that's just Diddy. He liked to party." And it was like she was very aware of everything that was going on. But because of Diddy's influence and I guess whatever stronghold or whatever he had on her, she knew exactly what it was. So when people would come in the house, when girls would come in the house, when young artists would come in the house, like, "Oh my God, this is P Diddy. What a great an opportunity," she would leave. She would just make sure they were there, and then she would leave because she knew exactly what was about to happen. Now, the question that really made me think of, like, really got me thinking was: Is money, is the ability to say you're affiliated with somebody so big that you're willing to put yourself at harm's risk, and more importantly, put other people in harm's risk, traumatic issues, mental issues? Are we really that gullible in life where we're willing to willfully destroy people's mental capacity and for their life? Because some of these people are genuinely traumatized for a paycheck, or just to say I hang with Diddy for a necklace, for the clout, to hang out on the boats and all that thing. None of those kind of things. And it really kind of struck a nerve with me that we are willing to make really dumb decisions just to say that we are affiliated with people. And even on a lower level, I've seen people's basic of things. So I remember it was a long time ago. This was during Martin Luther King. It's Martin Luther King's birthday, right? So people were making this. They were taking Martin Luther King quotes, right, and posting them up. Hey, I had a dream, blah blah blah. So there was this one guy who was like, "Man, y'all using the quote wrong, blah blah blah." Now all these people had previously had posted these things, and they were chiming in. And mind you, the quote was actually correct, but because he didn't never heard of the quote, all these people started literally taking the message and just like, "Y'all stupid. This ain't even the right quote. This ain't even the right quote," and literally just jumped on this go along, get along game, all because they wanted this dude's approval. And it's really why it has made me step back from a lot of situations, because they're what I like to call male cheerleaders. Now, I'm pretty sure there are female cheerleaders that do the same thing, but I call them male cheerleaders, where people who lack the ability to actually be leaders, or even not even leaders, but think on their own, when they aren't able to think on their own and they just go along with whatever the person they meet riding wants to do. And that is dangerous. That is extremely dangerous, because you will find yourself looking like a complete fool and you won't even realize it because you're too busy trying to get the satisfaction or the approval of this one person. And I've never rocked like that. I've never been one to just go with the flow of things, to my detriment sometimes. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it is okay to be a follower in situations, but every decision I've ever made in life, it was because I wanted to make it. It wasn't because somebody else wanted to make it. I knew right from wrong. I understood exactly what was going to come with it. And I just lived whatever the repercussions was. Some things I got away with, some things I didn't get away with. But it was what it was. Now, leaders often, this is Mario's personal opinion. leaders are born. I truly don't think that you can make a leader. I feel like if when you go through the process of trying to create a leader, like a creative character in video games, I feel like when you do that, you're not creating a leader. You're manipulating them to a set of ideals and ideologies that you feel like makes them a leader. So they're not really leading off of instinct or things that they know is right or wrong or what's for the greater good. They're going off this template, this cookie cutter idea of what you think is a leader. So then are they really leaders? Did you really create a leader, or did you create a carbon copy of somebody that you are, and you wanted that to be passed down to somebody else so they can influence other people? That's me. I feel like it's just in your DNA, man. What they say is not on you, it's in you. I truly believe that. I truly believe that without even having money or status or power or whatever, I feel like people are natural born leaders. Think about your gang leaders. Actually, I was just having this conversation at work not too long ago. We were talking about Jim Jones and the Jim Jones Massacre. So I read his autobiography, cover to cover, fantastic book. And he was the one who was responsible for the Jonestown Massacre. If you don't know what that is, please go look it up. But it's where the phrase "don't drink the Kool-Aid" came from, because it was in the end he had manipulated all of these people in America to sell all their worldly belongings, everything they own, cars, houses, everything. They left family behind and they moved to this little village in Africa. Was it South America? I believe it was South America. They moved to this village in South America and created this whole like little church. And while it sounds like a great idea, all the money that they made from selling all the worldly possessions went to this one person. So he created this little compound. Now, in this compound, there was a lot of kids getting molested. There were women that were being raped. There were women that were getting pregnant by him. I mean, just all kinds of crazy stuff. So once people finally got word of what was going on, they were like, we need to go check this out. So when they went to go check it out, they found out like, oh shit, this is like a whole situation now. And his decision, Jim Jones' decision, was to make this punch, and it was laced with cyanide poison or some kind of poison. He had them all meet up in a church and literally told them one by one, hey, we got to get out of here. Like, they are coming to get us. Like, this is it. And these people, one by one, now there were, fight or flight is a very real thing. So one by one, they all came up and they drank this punch and died right there in front of everybody. Now, mind you, this was men, this was women, this was older men, this was older women, this was even children. People were forcing these drinks down their kids, and I'm talking babies' throats to drink this because they felt like they had to go because their leader told them that they needed to leave. Little did they know that the senator and the people that were coming to make sure the situation was safe for them and they weren't in a harmful situation. But he had them believe that they were coming to like destroy everything they had worked for. So one by one, I want to say it was over 200 or 300 people. It might have been more than that, but they all drank from this punch and laid out and died. Now, mind you, I think he ended up escaping, and like, well, he tried to get away. They had people surrounded around the buildings, so they couldn't even leave. So even if he was like, nah, this ain't for me, I'm good. Like, he would have them shot, like legitimately people surrounded by machine guns or whatever, and literally would shoot them if you tried to escape. There is something really fascinating to me about leaders, dictators, what have you. Hitler's another one. Don't hate me, but I don't agree with what he did per se. But I really think it's interesting how one person can influence literally thousands of people, and to the point where people are willing to kill, die, destroy, take over lands for this random person who might actually be the most sensitive and the most vulnerable out of the entire group. This Diddy situation to me is no different. Now, mind you, Diddy had allegedly his own vices. Apparently, he was a raging homosexual. I don't know. Apparently, he really enjoyed same gender loving affection. And everybody knew this, but it was a thing that's just him. That's just what he likes to do. So mind you, disagreeing or agreeing with whatever his sexual preference, that's not the issue at all. But how he went about fulfilling his sexual desires, that's the problem. When you start drugging people and coercing underage women, and you're purposely luring people to where you are, so you can ideally drug them and sexually assault them is absolutely nuts. Which brings me to my next point. Leaders with the wrong intentions play on vulnerabilities. All these are perfect examples of this. I truly feel like when people, and like I said, you don't even have to have money to do this, but when people see, gang members are a great example of this. If you see any documentary, I mean, hell, you can name one, but when you talk to the people that are in, gangs or affiliated with these crazy organizations, most of them have problems that stem from their childhood. Be it, well, my parents didn't love me, my dad wasn't in the home, my mom was strung out on drugs, like I just didn't feel like I got the attention I needed, or nobody gave me the affection and the love I wanted. So this group of people brought me in and they showed me love that I had never had before. And therefore I have developed a sense of loyalty to them. In a way, leading leaders that prey on people's vulnerabilities is a form of creating a trauma bond. And if you think about it, how they do things. So let's take Diddy, for example, while we're talking about him. His ability to have millions on top of millions of dollars, mansions everywhere, power, influence, he was able to make phone calls to get people to win Grammy Awards. Like he would tell you, hey, if you come on my team, you come hang out with me, I'll make sure that you become a Grammy Award winner next year, because he was on the panel of the board that helped make the decision, right? So he preyed on people's willingness to be successful or willingness to be needed or feel loved. And he was able to create this conglomerate of people that said, hey, I will give you whatever you want. But the catch is you got to do what I want you to do. And to me, that is truly unfortunate. And this is why loving yourself over all things should be paramount, regardless of even how you're loved in your home. I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but even the love that you get from other people outside of your home, even inside your home, honestly, that should never predicate the type of person that you are. We used to sing this song when I was younger. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, blah, 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 blah. I can't remember the rest of it. But the whole thing was basically reminding us that how we love ourselves or how we feel about ourselves starts with us. It shouldn't start with somebody, your friends, your family, your spouse, your coworker, none of that stuff. Because the minute you don't love yourself, you immediately open the door to people to create what their version of loving you looks like. And you end up doing some very weird things for and approval from those people. Which brings me to my last point. People will do something strange for a piece of change. There's a guy. He's a wrestler. I think he passed away, as a matter of fact. But this always stuck with me, and I thought this was very, very interesting. So his name was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Now, obviously, it's a wrestling gimmick, right? It's not even real. It's all scripted. I get it. But his whole gimmick was he would walk around with his bodyguard who had this briefcase. Briefcase was full of money, right? So whenever he wanted to, get a match, he wanted to get a title match with somebody, and they were like, nah, you can't do this, man. You didn't even want enough matches, or you didn't meet whatever the qualifications were to even get this match. And he would just start smiling, and he would reach in his briefcase, and he would just pull out these wads of money, and he would tell people, hey, everybody's got a price. What's yours? And everybody, one by one, even though it was wrestling, but people were willing to take money to give up spots for wrestling matches and all this kind of stuff to put him in those positions. And his whole thing wasn't even about being the champion, but it was to show that I can easily influence or manipulate people, all because I have something that people want. Money is They call it the root of all evil, and it's so true. I was watching this show, and honestly, it took everything. I almost didn't record this podcast tonight because if it wouldn't have been so long, I probably would have pushed it another day. But it's a show on Netflix called Greed, and the show puts these, I think, 10 or 11 people on this island, and all of them, they already won the game. Like it's the first thing they tell them: you won the game. Congratulations. You won the game. However, there's going to be a list of challenges, a bunch of challenges that we go through that will give you the opportunity to vote people out. Now, the more people you vote out, the more of that pot, I think it was $250,000, the more of that pot that y'all get to bring home. So y'all can, hey, cool, you can, all 10 of y'all can, whenever there's a challenge that comes up, you don't have to vote anybody off. You can say, I choose not to vote, I'm good. Or I can say, well, I'm voting Jessica off and she gone. As long as the majority vote has that person, you're good. So it started off so good. So you had all these people who, there was like a single mom of two. She was recently divorced. There was another lady who she was a business manager, but um, her husband that she was with, she cheated on her previous husband to get with him, and they were just having all kinds of marital issues. And she felt like winning this contest, like money, would fix a lot of the problems that they had, right? So one by one, when people start seeing that pot of money get bigger or smaller, people very quickly turn on each other. And I mean, I think it was like the first episode when they were like, "Oh, we're never going to vote anybody off. Like it's great, we're not going to do this." But then people start thinking like, well, just because you say you do it, like you vote anonymously, so nobody knows. So I can just start randomly picking people off. And in the grand scheme, that I take your pot of money, whatever that is, I'll do public math, and that brings a bigger pot of money home for me instead of spreading this out 10 or 11 ways. I can get more money. And as the game went on, I ain't finished the episode yet, but as the game went on, it became more about creating fake bonds or fake ties to people because they saw that, man, the longer I stay in this game, the more money I get. And this money, I need this money for ABC or whatever. And they realized if it came down, as one lady said, if it came down to me or you, trust me, I'm picking you. And all of the challenges that they had, one was directly, it was for, it was, one was selfish, like it was like one that would benefit you, other one benefited the team. So everybody started picking the ones that benefited the team, but the team internally had beefs with each other, so they were trying to get each other out. It's a sad state of affairs. And really, the game can really be really simple. They can go through all the challenges, like whatever happens, we're not voting nobody out. They can go through that, and then it'll be good. But obviously, that makes it boring if everybody does things the right way. And sure enough, whoever created the show was a genius because they knew that if you give a huge pot of money to a bunch of strangers, I don't care how nice they are, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, people will do whatever it takes to put a couple extra dollars that they never had in their pocket. Now, what is the moral of this whole story? I'm not saying that you shouldn't go do whatever you got to do to get $250,000. Whatever works for you, that works for you. But I really challenge people to start thinking independently a lot more. Now, mind you, people will tell you in order to be a good follower, in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower. And that's absolutely true. There has to be something that gives you motivation and drive that you see out of other people that says, hey, once I branch off from this person or I branch off from this situation, I'll be able to lead on my own. That's one of the things I've truly enjoyed about being in a leadership position now, because I learned a long time ago that you learn from everybody. When it's not your turn, you learn from every single person that you encounter. You learn good and you learn bad, especially in the military, because everybody wants to get promoted. We want to get the most stripes. We want to make the most money. And I'm pretty sure whatever your job is, the same can correlate to that as well. And what people don't understand in the military, and it's a blueprint that my wife and I figured out, the better you take care of your people, the more successful the team will be. The more successful the team will be, the more successful you will be. And people love you forever. Really, at the end of the day, All you did was just step up and be the leader that they needed. So I've realized that, man, there's a lot of people that had skin in the game. They were just about it for all the wrong reasons. And they use their power and influence for the absolute wrong reason. So instead of trying to make a situation better, instead of trying to make a job or an office better, they were so short-sighted and had tunnel vision on what benefited them that they kind of let everything else run on autopilot instead of using your power to empower other people so you could create other leaders in the area. It almost felt like a dictatorship. Like, man, I'm doing this. I mean, I'll get y'all in the war here or there just to make sure you're straight. But at the end of the day, this is about me. And you can see it, you can sense it, you can feel it. So those people who may not be as vocal as me or who may not be as outspoken as me, they're going to go along, even if there's something wrong going on. They'll just go with it because maybe they're at a point in their life where they're not comfortable speaking out or saying, hey, this is wrong. I don't feel like this is right, blah, blah, blah. Or can we find another way to do this? Instead of doing that, they allowed leaders to play on their own vulnerabilities, to not know how to be a leader or not know how to speak up. So then when you don't do that, you kind of fall victim to whatever that person wants. And that can be good stuff, that can be bad stuff, that can be great work habits, that can be shitty work habits, that can be people see you come in and work at 7:45 every day. And hell, my leader does that, so I should be able to do it. So learning how to set the example for people has been kind of a struggle for me personally because I've had to help the people I'm in charge of unlearn a lot of bad behaviors, but at the same time, allow them to understand, like, hey, although I'm your leader, my goal is when I walk away that you're empowered to do whatever the hell it is you want to do, and you're able to lead as well. So learn from the things I do right, wrong, and indifferent, whether you think they're good or bad. Take notes from that, figure that out, because eventually you're gonna be in my seat. I ain't got many more years left in this Air Force thing. So when I'm done, I'm done. So you need to be ready to lead, and I'm gonna give you little things in short spurts that you should be responsible for, and it'll give you a sense of, accomplishment and feeling like a piece of the team, because eventually you're going to get more of that piece, and then you're going to be in the same seat that I'm in. And what are you going to do with your power? Do you influence the people the right way, or do you prey on the people who you see are vulnerable or afraid to speak up, and then you just allow them to create bad habits due to your poor leadership? Is Diddy going to jail? I have no idea. Personally, I don't even care, to be real with you. But I will say the saddest part of this story is that there were so many people surrounded by him that allowed him to do these things and never took the opportunity to check him. So, both the question, the society we live in now, nobody wants to step up and be a leader. Nobody wants to do that because nobody is willing to handle the the fallout from that. Nobody wants to be disliked. Nobody wants for people to look at them outside of being great or awesome, even if it's for their good. Nobody wants to do that, unfortunately. So what are we going to do in life, people? I don't know. That's a question for y'all to figure out. That's my time. That's it, guys. That is all I got for y'all today. I got this nice little shout out to my boy Andy, man. He gave me this beautiful little overlay for the podcast. Let me know if y'all rocking with it, y'all feeling it. Shout out to my girl Tammy, man. She reached out to me the other day, like, where the hell the podcast episodes at, Mario? So here you go. This is the podcast episode. So appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. I'm gonna have a couple announcements here in the next couple of weeks. Once I make sure they concrete. Last time my wife stopped me from making one before, and I'm glad she did because it didn't come to fruition. So once it's like official, I'll come out and tell y'all. I'm super excited about it, so I'm hoping it works out. But until then, I ain't gonna say anything about it. Anywho, if you see the little overlays up here, man, this is everywhere you can follow us. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, of course, now, and Good Pod. So make sure you like, follow, subscribe, turn those notifications on. This one isn't live. I'm going to start trying to go earlier in the daytime so we can have people come in and chime in instead of like blowing up my emails on my inbox like 2 days later, which is cool for me. But it's kind of better if we like to, we interact through things. So obviously follow my guy Adrian, I Respectfully Disagree podcast. My boy CEO who's deployed right now, I need to go check on him. I don't know if he's still doing the podcast. I know he does have a portable situation. So I need to check on him and see what he's doing. But follow him at Uncomplicatedly. Oh my God, I can't remember. Complicatedly Misunderstood Hour. That's it. Yeah. Also, man, shout out to my wife, man. She's over here rolling yard. I should have moved camera over here, but I ain't gonna do her like I ain't gonna do her like that because she just gave me the death stare. But I am gonna have her on the podcast because I do want her to talk about her transition. So she officially made her announcement that she is retiring. And obviously we're super duper proud of her. Obviously it's a little nerve wracking though. And to do something for 22 years and to just stop one day, and that's rough. And a lot of people, I had two people this week, matter of fact, one works with me, one works in another work center, and actually both of them came in the office and had these whole breakdowns. And I'm just like, man, like you're entitled to do that. Like this has been your whole life for so long, and I'm pretty sure when I get to that situation, I'll probably be the same way. But it's a little nerve wracking, if you're in the military and you're not a civilian, like our life is so structured to a point that taking his uniform off and going out into the free world is a little different because y'all are autopilot out here, and this is very different from how we do things, even if we know right from wrong. But to do something for that long, and in my wife's case, it'll be 22 years that she's woke up every day and put on the. Is that right?
1 month and 9 days.
22 years, 1 month and 9 days. That she has put on the same outfit and went and did the things, whether that be in Afghanistan, the coldest place in America, North Dakota, and then in a couple months she's gonna stop, and that's it. Now, mind you, I wanna tell her business because I do want her to share her story with everybody because I think it'd be a dope little conversation to have. But man, I consider her a 1%er because she was very fortunate to transition straight into another situation I thought was very dope. And to me, that's just a testament, even though she get on my nerves sometimes, that's a great testament to the work that she's put in, the faith that she's put in. And even though she's super nervous about it, man, like she's put in the work to be in that situation. And I'm super proud of her. I'm happy for her because this Air Force is very different these days. So I think we both kind of agree, like, yeah, it's about time to check out. But nonetheless, I'm super proud of her. We're going to do her retirement ceremony in like 2 months, month and a half, something like that. So I'll be really excited to make sure we send her off the right way. Long as she don't agree to buy these damn Walmart cupcakes. But that is my time. I love you all. Again, my apologies for being away so long, but life be life, and like I be saying, so I have to make the main thing sometimes. So keep making memories, keep doing what you're doing. Why are you looking at me like that? We on YouTube right now. Why are you looking at me like that? But anyway, keep making the main thing. I love y'all. Don't forget to make memories. Get some sleep, drinking water, and hydrate. Until next time, man, we are out. Thank y'all for listening. And let me know what y'all think about the whole, my little layout, my little intro, my little outro, all that kind of stuff, man. Let me know what y'all think. Peace.